Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with the last Conscious Business Zone, I think, for the whole year, 2024. Wow, it went fast. I'm here today with my dear friend, Fran Bailey, and I am so excited to have her on this last show of the year to explain all the different ways that you can really take care of yourself in this holiday season and then for next year. That's easy to follow and you deserve it. Right, Fran?
Right.
Right. So, Fran, for people that don't know you, could you explain a little bit about your beginnings, your background, and how you discovered the SHEVA method?
Sure. Well, it's interesting. I think in a nutshell, I grew up in a very metaphysical home as a Christian Scientist, and our thinking and our philosophy was really basically about what's happening now. It's about love, and you are God, you are love, you are important, that you can heal yourself, that thoughts are um, part of healing. Whatever you were thinking, you can reverse your thought so it affects your body, and et cetera, et cetera. And so this metaphysical concept has been in my life for forever. And then my other background was that my parents were very musical. So I grew up in a musical home, and my mom was a dancer. And so we did a lot of musicals and fell in love with that field at a very early age, at age 6, teaching myself we had a ballet bar in a barn, and I was done. It was like, okay, I like the music. I like moving my body. I like the fact that I can feel my energy moving without talking. So I became my first career was a dancer. And then I went on to do performance and choreography, and but then I went into the healing end of things. I graduated and started working for a alternative place called Alliance Institute for Integrative Medicine in Cincinnati, and someone said that I could see energy, and I said, what's that? And I trained with his trainer, Rosalind Briere, who is an incredible intuitive healer. And I met her and I went, ooh, they found me. So, it's that kind of interesting things that's happened in my life. I had a near-death experience at 12 at the camp. So a lot of these things accumulated, and my father died of cancer in 1994, and I think the body emulates emotions and trauma. And then I got cancer a year later, sort of probably trying to take that away from him so he could live. Didn't want him to go. And I said, well, if this work is real, I'm going to use it on myself. So they wanted to take everything out, and I said no. And I had cervical cancer, stage 4. And so I worked with this female doctor who was marvelous. And I said, this is what I do. I want to work with you. Just understand that I may be doing this as well, which is energy work on myself. So basically what happened is I went through the process of, a 5-year watch. And every 3 months I would go in and they would check. And I think there was one procedure she did, and I was clean. So I think that there is this, feel very important that in the SHEVA method, which I've created and started creating in 2002, is that, you need to talk the walk the talk. And I wanted to be the guinea pig in order for this experience and all of this work to actually work. And I wanted, the validity. I wanted to know that it worked for me. Then I can share it with you. Then I can teach you to heal yourself and to understand that you are part of this universe, God, love, and that all things that you do revolve around your health, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, your mental self. So, and those emotions, all of them will work together. So the idea is that they're really simple techniques. I do body work, I do deep meditation, I do the Enneagram. And so those three things are kind of combined, and so that you can find that inner beauty and that inner voice in yourself. And that communication, this intimate communication with your body, mind, heart, and soul is just worth every ounce of work to get there, because it's just, you're unique, you're beautiful. And that's just the way it is. So I'm here to help you get busy in knowing that.
Thank you. Thank you. That was perfect. So I want everyone to know that Fran, I went as a volunteer to an IONS conference, and I was there for a week and a half, I think, or 9 days. And I caught a cold, and this was maybe 3 years ago. And they had healers there. So I went ahead and had healing done while I was there, and nothing could shake this thing. It was just stuck on me. And then I came back, and right away I just called Fran. Oh my God, can you help me? And in one session, what I had been really suffering with for over a week was gone, just like that. And this is something that is available for everyone. You don't really realize how quickly your body wants to be in top-notch health. It wants to go to its highest level, but it may just need a little help. It just might need a little help, or it might be your thought processes are holding something in your field that you don't really need. I'm just amazed at it. And then I've had other experiences. I was just a couple months or less a month ago, I had I guess it would call a ruptured muscle in my back, and it was horrible. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. And I called up Fran, and Fran just sewed it like a hernia. She just sewed it back. I'm in Colorado, she's in Cincinnati, and within days I was back at it again. And these are things that you just don't know, that as like, for instance, the back muscle, I have no idea how I did it. I was working out the garage, I came back in, I made dinner, I did laundry, and then in the middle of the night it appeared. So it was so strange, but I knew I could just call Fran or text Fran and go, help me. And and that's what I want everyone to know about. I want you to know that either if you're a practitioner and you want to learn how to do this and use it in your practice, Fran can teach you how to do this. Or if you just are like me and I needed tune-ups right then, I mean, I would love to learn how to do all of the SHEVA method too, but there's these times where it's like, no, I can't be in the bed. No, show must go on. So Fran, let's help people understand how this transfers, because we're working on classes so a practitioner could actually be certified and actually get practitioner training to include it in their package, but everyone could take your mini course that's on your website and your introduction course and intermediate course without even thinking, just for themselves as personal development work. Could you talk a little bit about that, about how this helps raise you back to your intended state?
Mhm. Sure. I think that the word observant is the biggest word. And I think this is all about how you observe, how you really take into account your life decisions, what you want to do, what you want to get rid of. So it's a really the intensity of it is that you are actually letting go of old stuff. And you're letting go to the point of like, I'm really shedding and I'm saying hello to who I really am. And with that comes this incredible ability to this inner conversation, which I'm a healer, but I can't be you. I can't be in your life. You're the one that makes the ultimate decision. I may have some cues for you, and I teach you about cues and what to watch for, what to observe, what might not be a good energy for you, but you have to observe what is not apologize for your life, number one. Number two, learn what the next step could be through your own observation. And it's like this, it's like you have a book of yourself and you open the book and there are all the pages and there's all the information of who you've been in this lifetime. And you may bring in past lives into this life and things that aren't right from that past life. And it's like, ooh, you remember that's not working in this life. And we can get rid of that so that I can move in another direction. So it's about desire for moving forward. It's about desire to not blame others for where you are. It's a desire to understand the love and the beauty that you have inside yourself at every given moment. And that comes with understanding that the breath, the body, all the body work is a reflection of what you're thinking, what you're knowing, what you're experiencing. It's all, every experience is sacred. So there's not a wrong way. There is a way that works for you. And so it's a study on what that is. And once you get a hold of, oh my God, that's who I am. Well, I'm going to say hello to that person. It's just like a child. It's that inner innocence. And that innocence is freeing. And that's the beauty of who we are. Just to remember that. Find that. So
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. The other thing I wanted to let people know about is I also this year bought a karma cleanse. And that was amazing. I mean, I was so surprised because I could see I was repeating a pattern and I was done with it. And I realized that everything that's in my field is a part of me. And so I get the opportunity to change that frequency, change the attraction to myself of that item. But I was so surprised how quick and easy that was too. Do you want to talk a little bit about the karma cleanse process?
sure. So so I sort of hooked into this channeling of these different techniques for people to understand, and this particular one that comes in very fast. And I went, okay, this is going to be fun. So the experience is that you actually you ask the body and aura and personality, okay, what karma do I need to clear? What is it that I need to clear? Whether it's fear, whether it's relationship with someone, and whatever it is, clearing your mom, your dad, your sister, your ex, or whatever it is. You choose one or a subject, like my anxiety about getting a job or whatever it is. And you pick the subject and you put the subject in a circle out in front of you, outside of your energy field. And then you ask, then you put that in the circle, and then you create all these spokes all the way around. And then you ask your body and aura, okay, so how many discs at the end of the spokes are there for this particular subject? And you may get 10, you may get 5, you may get 20, who knows? So you put all those discs at the end of the spokes, and then you fill those discs with the information in the center. So that means you're clearing your karma, your energy from that subject that you've created. So then you shoot them. So the arrows are like an arrow. So you shoot them out into the universe and clear and clear and clear and clear. And then the trick is to go back and look at the circle. If there's any residue, any more energy, then you put more and you clear it again. It's a really good technique. It's really fun. I mean, it's different. It's good, but your body feels different. You're like, oh, well, what do I fill that with? You fill it with you, the new you, the
Isn't it
love you
cool?
have. So,
Well, one of the people that I got to talk to while we were doing testimonials for you, she went through a process like this before with you that enabled her to get married and have a child. I mean, she was totally on the other end. She was in the desiring of it, but couldn't seem to get the right person in her life. And when I interviewed her, she was crying. She just
yeah,
so grateful for it. So you've been doing a version of it for a
yeah,
while, for what, a couple of years probably.
quite a few.
Yeah. So right now, you and I are pretty sensitive, and more and more people are getting sensitive. The energies that are coming in from the sun, the global consciousness of fear that's palatable all the time for us sensitives. Everyone's now starting to feel that. Do you have a recommendation for them, for the people that are just starting to go, something's different, and I don't quite know how to navigate this new world? Do you have a suggestion for them?
I do. I think one, um, shut down on the media, close it down a bit and just be with yourself. And I think the biggest thing is to trust. We don't trust because there's just so much out there coming at us. We don't know what's ours or what's theirs. Or the biggest thing you can do is stay present to you, and that this is truth. You are truth. And you have to begin to trust that. If, for instance, if someone asks you out, or you ask to a party, or you want to go for dinner, or you create a dinner party, when you create that dinner party, you create those that know you and love you and that are not going to question you, because love is a reflection of love. And what's happening is love is a priority right now. It's a priority in bigger ways than we can imagine, especially in 2025. We have to get on the ball and and roll with it, because that's the only way we can survive with this frequency. And this frequency is a higher frequency, and that frequency is you. It's like, okay, you find yourself. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you've had a conversation with someone who is like, okay, down in the dumps, or not down in the dumps, but pessimistic and just really angry and really have no faith in humanity. And so what you have to ask yourself is, what is that doing to my body? Number one, be observant. If I could tell you probably everything is shrinking back. Your third chakra's collapsing because you're taking on that energy. And when you take on that energy, it's not you, it's the influence of that other person or that other energy he or she is putting out there. You may think that there's a problem out there, which there are definitely problems. It's not that you're not ignorant. You're not ignorant. There are problems, but how you put your attention to it, it becomes bigger. So that is senior and you are not. And you want to have the opposite. You want to be senior and that is smaller because this is an illusion. We are what's real. You are what is real. It's a constant. So if you find yourself sort of holding your breath and saying, oh, I'm going down this deep thing. I'm going, take a deep breath, kind of push it away and say, you know, I'm going to consider what you're saying, but I'm going to move out of this room, or I'm going to go to another, you're going to leave and move out of that conversation. Go take a walk, go to nature, read a book, meditate, get physical, find somebody to hold your hand, find somebody to hug, say, you know, that's real.
Okay. Okay. So, that's really helpful. And I think the other things that I've learned from you is using what you just mentioned to get physical. This time period is a gift. I believe you stood in line to get these bodies to be here right now. And the opportunity is when you do get drawn into something, the opportunity is to see if there's any triggers, any hooks into you to clear. I believe everything's in your environment as an asset, to help you. But the more clearing we can do right now, the better the more we will enjoy and the more we'll thrive in 2025. Because the frequencies are going to continue coming in. The other thing I wanted to say is that when you talk about the SHEVA method, I want to keep bringing back about the self-love because, as women, we're doing things for everybody, especially at Christmas time. It's gifts and food and phone calls and making sure this person's remembered, and it's kind of our role in the family. But who's going to make you a priority if you don't? And the whole thing with the SHEVA method, where there's you can even do stretches, you can do meditations. There's all sorts of ways that you can get recentered to the love that you are, so you can show up for everyone else rather than make yourself sick
Right.
and worried, because it makes you very anxious. This whole time period can make you very anxious. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, about the movements and the body work a little bit?
Yeah. So I'll just give you examples of how and why. So the body work, I've trained as a dancer, obviously, and then with the energy work, this body work is designed to work on acupressure points. And so acupressure points all through the body to teach you just how to even run energy, through your fingertips, how to settle your mind, just like that, putting your hand on the thumbs on the temple. And this is the 6 is to open up the 3rd. Oh my God, we got to stop thinking. We got to stop thinking. We're just going to move instead. We're just going to move instead. This is a sinus too, so you can do a rub here with the thumbs. But the minute you do that, you start settling down. Oh, there I am. You know, and then at the top of that is the seventh. But if you just run energy down the spine, just fingers like this, just like and just take a deep breath and just run energy down the spine and let it go. Let your shoulders drop. Feel your sit bone. Feel your feet. That is a stimulus, but that stimulus is your energy, not somebody else's. So it's designed to do this. It takes 20 minutes. And if I don't do it every day, it's like I feel like I'm outside my body. So when I do it every day, it's a prep for whatever you want to do. Go run, go walk, meditate after, do that before you go out in a party. I swear, because you're aligned. It's all about chakras and aligning the body, understanding that the breath is part of the whole system. So it's like an old Chinese, every movement is, I had a doctor look at the work. She's an acupuncturist and we trained together. And she looked at the body work. She said, this is like old acupressure points. And these are like, and I went, okay. So anyway, I think that pulling this body awareness and then a clearing before you wake up in the chakras, or just scan your body and say, what am I holding on to? Where's the tension? So I'm going to say something. I'm going to try to release that today. And with the goals that I have, I'm going to do this and this so that I can create what I want to create today. Not when someone wants me to.
Right. Well, this is getting out of victim mode and into co-creator mode. And that's what we need, as many people as possible with all the changes we're going through. And it's going to be a ride. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful ride, actually, because the outcome's going to be a much more loving world that we'll live in. And for our grandkids, it'll be a whole different thing than what we grew up with. And this just takes like if you can't give yourself an hour a day to work on yourself, then something, we need to talk. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have 20 minutes, it's something. And then that's something, it puts you in another dimension. Very, very important word. It puts you in another dimension, and that dimension is getting back to the alignment of your body, mind, heart, and soul, because the work does it itself. As long as you understand, the rhythm of it, and you learn the system, and then go for it. But if you have all those things in one place, then decisions are easier. The chores are less than. You look and say, okay, so I'm wrapping presents, but I'm going to clean out that closet too. So I'm going to get rid of more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to clean out that closet, so I'm going to get rid of more. So I'm going to create new for 2025. It's that kind of renewal. Clean house, clean mind, whatever you want to call it. But it's the same thing. Where you live, how it evolves, what you eat. Cutting back on sugar, cutting back on carbs, cutting back on all that. Cutting back on your wine. If you drink wine, that's important as well. Water. Hydrate. Very important. Because what we ingest, if we ingest the idea of knowing ourselves and being better through the power of love, that is in all aspects of your life. So digest you and think about what you're putting in your body and how you're responding, how changing your way of thinking, changing your way of responding. That's a very interesting thought. So if you're getting a response from someone and you're getting the same response or the same trigger or anxiety, think about pulling your energy back and saying, you know what? I'm going to rephrase that question because I'm going to observe what's triggering for me from that person. So I'm going to look at that first and say, wow, okay, well, that's not mine, that's theirs. So I'm going to let them have that so that I don't get into the mess of miscommunication. So you sit back and you say, okay, you don't have to say anything. Just let it roll.
Well, yeah, that's the thing when you start to become sensitive, that it's difficult to distinguish which is yours and which is theirs. But if you give yourself the pause, even if it means going to the ladies' room or going to the restroom and just take a break and go, just look at it. Does this delight me? Is this part of my joy? And really look at, you deserve the joy. That's the other thing, Fran, is how do we get to the place of feeling like we deserve self-love? Because I think that's a global consciousness as well of we have to clear, or I want to clear that aspect, that how do we love ourselves and know that we're worthy of that love when the program that we've gotten in our growing up in society, especially as women, is, your service is your love. You're doing service out of love, but there's nothing that's saying that you are love, really. Could you speak to that? Because I think that's a big part of feeling worthy of working with the divine, feeling worthy that, or part of source and part of the creation, and taking that path of let's see how I can create something rather than the fear of that.
Well, it's the judgment,
Right.
it's the judgment. And that judgment, that it's like an echo, and it echoes into our brain and our behind us or something of where we think I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that, I couldn't do that, or I should have to do this, or, there's all of those things that happen at one time. And I think the biggest thing is how you feel about what you are doing. So you ask yourself that question, what is that doing to me? Am I feeling like I have to do that in order to receive? Or do I have to do it this way in order to please? That pleasing is just, oh, wait a minute now. I'm going to please myself. I'm going to do this because I want to do this. So that's where that worth comes in. And it's getting out of resistance to that second voice. So you move away from that second voice and you say, no, no, no. I'm going to bring joy, love, present here, and start believing in what I'm doing and what it means to me and what it means. If it means more to me, then it's going to mean more to others. So we get on this spin. All of us do.
Well, the thing I'd like to remind everyone is that we really did stand in line to get these bodies to be here right now, and everyone has a part in it. And
Mhm.
if you're not stepping up to it, you're missing the ride. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not all the karma stuff, oh, you got to come back and do it again. It's really about, this was supposed to be a playground. And there, if you listen to the media, it's strife. It's a strife
Well,
playground.
there's that heaviness that
Right,
just is there.
right,
And some are in it and that's where they're going to stay and that's the way it is. And
right.
the important thing is, there is this, okay, well, I'm conscious, I know better. And no,
No
you
ego.
may be conscious, but you have to allow others to be where they need to be. And that is also really, really important, as far as acknowledging not being in judgment. That is self-worth. Not being in judgment, observing, and allowing others to be where they need to be. And even if those are people are just about to go, hold their hand, help them, take them for a walk. You're going through a rough time. I'm here for you.
Right.
This compassion.
Well, it's a
And
different kind of listening.
yeah,
I mean, one kind of listening is, as an empath, is you take it on in the hopes of healing them, or because you can handle it better than they can. Not.
well,
And,
yeah, not right. Hello.
or the other is being a compassionate listener, where you're compassionate, but it's theirs, and you're holding space for them to figure it out. The SHEVA method work helps you understand your makeup in the body, mind, and spirit aspects, and where you might be able to tweak it so that you
Mhm.
can get back to your joy, because you'll know if you're aware of your body, you're in your body, you're not out. And that's the whole key to this, is the body is the gift. And that whether it's chubby or not, or skinny, whatever
Yeah.
sizes and shapes we all are. It's very interesting. But
Mhm.
but the thing is, it's not judgment when you're looking at it and discerning whether it's for you or not. I believe that anything that comes into your field, whether it's this person to comfort, or a joyful birth, whatever comes in your field, is for you. It is a gift for you to see your response, to enjoy the event. It's a gift. And we forgot that. I truly believe the mime, or the construct of aging, or of age groups, of what this is what society expects for this one and this and this one, those programs should be disintegrated soon.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then what do you do? Well, you have to know yourself. If you're not following the program that we were all taught, our parents did the best they could.
Yeah.
But if you're not following that, it's like, well, follow your joy, follow your creativity, follow divine art, divine beauty, which is everywhere. It's in a leaf.
Everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. And I think I do want to mention that in the course of when you say tweaking and really digging in and looking, what happens to us when we don't want to look, is fear. And the fear of an emotion coming up or triggering something that you don't want it to come up at all. But the point is that you can be happy in the course of chaos, because you're actually, if you hit on something, it's like there's a rough spot and you've been avoiding it. But if you make the choice, and now am I going to be happier going into that rough spot and releasing it and finding another way, or am I just going to let it sit there and annoy me? You know what I'm saying? It could sit there forever, and you have that choice to do that, but you're making that choice. If you move out of fear and say, wow, I'm going to get that. I'm going to shoot that thing. I'm going to go towards it and go towards it. Allow my emotions to come up and be okay with it. Be okay with being unpleasant for a little bit. So you have an unpleasant day. So you're getting through something. That's part of creation. As part of the destruction and creation and recreation. I can't stress that more.
Oh, that's so perfect. I think that's the opportunity is to have a small time period of inconvenience or sadness. A lot of times for me, it's just crying and release that. And then that opening that happens when you finally don't resist, you're putting a lot of energy into resisting it or hoping no one else sees what you're doing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and as soon as you let that go, then anything, the cool stuff can come in, and the total creativity that there was no room. It's like the saying about an teacup that the master said, pour the tea, and you keep pouring and pouring and pouring. And he said, Master, why are you doing that? Because it's overflowing. And the master said, well, you have no room for the other. Well, if you're holding on to all these past pains and victimization thoughts, or your history isn't resolved, again, if your concept is that everything is here for me versus I'm a victim, you will have a totally different experience. So we're hoping that with your exposure to this beautiful work that Fran does, that you'll be able to learn how you could clear yourself. I spent a fortune 20 years ago with Avatar learning what Fran's teaching for well, the mini course is free. So yeah. Well, no, I think that we didn't know what we knew. We had these things. Oh, I'm always in a bad relationship. I always do this. I always have that. And you didn't realize that those are spells that you are saying, that if you just look at it and go, I'm the variable that's always the same in all of these storylines. Must be me. And then, and then you can really go, okay, what's underneath all of that, and peel it back to find the freedom of that.
Right. And I think that's why I did the Enneagram and became a facilitator to pull it into the method, because you can say, oh, well, I've got all this and I've got all that. But if as a healer, I need to know all my triggers. I need to know how to protect myself and, what's lighting me up. And in my personality, what is that repeat in my personality that keeps me in these loops? And it was a wake-up call. I mean, I had to really do that. And whether you do Enneagram or anything else, it really helped me understand the patterns that humans have. their personality patterns. And so when I looked at the energy around the patterns, and that helped me understand the client, because they were repeating the pattern through a thought process, through their personality. And so then if you break the thought process and say, hey, if you just pull that out and say, and look at it from this viewpoint and not go into a tizzy around what this, what you're keep repeating, then they went, oh, yeah, that's the repeat. I'm going to pull that away and pull that away. Now you see the subject. Now you see what it is you're resisting.
Yes, and this is,
So,
we're talking about liberation. We're talking
yeah.
about a chance to be the divine expression and work with that and have a lot more fun doing that,
Yeah.
right? And be healthier, happier, connect with people on a different level. And it's all right now happening. This is everyone can have an opportunity, whether you want to be a hands-on healer or if you want to just learn this for your family, you have the opportunity to shift within an hour, something, or 2 hours maybe, something that you might have had as a chronic problem for part of your life, because you used to say, and I'll ask this, the body doesn't lie. Do you want to talk about that so they understand the signals?
Yeah, I'm gonna give an example of myself. This will help, because I think as I'm a heart type, so Enneagram is mind, heart, body. Okay, so the three, you're all three, but you tend to go towards one. So the heart type is they have, they respond, they're emotional, they're natural healers because they're helpers. So I'm a helper. But our children always teach us something. So of course I have all head types. Wouldn't you know it? Anyway, I have one child that's sort of an introvert, and I kept going towards him saying, okay, well, I want you to be this way because I know better and I know all this stuff and I know love, but it would smother him. So what would happen is my body, because I wanted it, my body would move forward towards him. And guess what he did? He would back away. And bingo. So I changed my body language. I changed the way I asked him. I gave him time. I gave him space. Then he would come around. I mean, that's a great example. He taught me a lot. So I think that, yes, the body doesn't lie. I mean, it just doesn't. It just, if you acknowledge the force of your thought or your desire, your have to, your should, and you watch what happens to your body. You could feel it in your gut. And 891 is all about gut. They hold a lot of, they respond through their gut, but they're also aggressive. They can be aggressive, but they can also be perfectionists. I mean, they're all types are so interesting and defensive. But so there is that. And then the head type is all here. Never leave the brain. And so I have to, in order to talk to them, I said, what do you think you feel?
I love that.
And not what you feel, because that'll flip them out.
Right. It's like, I asked Gar about his shower and I said, how was your shower? And he says, wet.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Oh, yeah.
No, and to me, it's like, oh, it was divine.
Yeah. Right. Isn't it funny? It's hysterical.
It is. Well, for people that are learning about all of this work, again, I want to impress them that this is personal development at a more like a multi-dimensional level. You can take it all the way to a whole different level if you want, but if you're just starting out, this still will help you tremendously because it's using your body how it was intended to be used rather than the just buck up and do things, which is our standard athletic model is, show must go on, just do it. This is where you sense what the body doesn't lie because the body gives you the first signal and then respond to that with, oh, okay, I feel it here. What does that mean? And then the other thing I wanted people to know about, Fran, is that you've started to create some meditations that are on your website now that if you do get a signal and you don't have time for a session and you want to go get a meditation, that in a very short time period you can totally change and release. Do you want to mention anything about that?
Yeah, I think there's bundles that I'm offering. There are 3 different types of meditations, like self-acceptance. There's one on sleep. There's one on getting back to sleep, where you're actually touching areas in your body to run energy on your body. There's one I just did with going through the chakras and the association of an album, with the needle on each seven songs with 7 chakras and 7 layers on the flip side, and it's pretty cool. But the idea of that, of course, the chakras run right to left all the time, and that's the way an album runs on a turntable. So that's a visual. There was different kinds of visual. There's what else? Sleep, self-acceptance. I can't remember. There's another one.
You got them. The idea is that if you are looking for ways to release tension during the holidays, if you're ready to step up and do some more work and give yourself the gift of you during the holidays and going into 2025, well, that seems so weird to say. This is an opportunity to get started either with the mini course that's on your website that's free, or one of these meditations that whether you get one or a group of 3, they're going to help you and your family, because once you get recentered, you can set the frequency for everything that happens around you. So that it's a gift that gives over and over again. And once you have the recording, you can do it anytime you want. Right, Fran?
Right. And I think that word frequency is really perfect for understanding the volume of what energy is, volume, and how we express our energy. So in other words, when I'm recording the audio, it may not be necessarily the words I'm saying, it's the energy that's coming through the words that gives you that physical, emotional, spiritual soul connection quickly. It's almost like quantum physics, because we are at this point, it's very tangible. And I think it's important to remember that is possible. It's really possible.
So we're about to wrap up. I want to ask you if there was anything you wanted to share with everyone as a end of 2024 and starting 2025, if there was anything else you'd like to add. And then, of course, we want to make sure people know how to find you.
Right. Well, I think the biggest thing is to spark that fire in yourself for 2025 and start doing it now, as far as loving and trusting your process and your dreams, really beginning to, you've been doing this all along, but now it's just like, okay, here's the time where we can really emphasize the uniqueness in you and the beauty in you and loving yourself, loving your family, loving your friends that mean something to you and you mean something to them. So there's an exchange, and that's what's real. So following your dreams, loving yourself, manifesting what you want, plan for the next year, and really start organizing the energy around that. So,
Yay, I love
yeah.
it. Thank you so much. I want to add that you're much more powerful than you ever could know, and that this journey through using the SHEVA method and working with Fran Bailey could be the path for you to really realize that and enjoy this whole existence at a whole different level, add a lot of beauty and love to the world, which is what I think is in our future. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I'm working on. So anyway, well, thank you, Fran. And what's the best way for everyone to get a hold of you and reach you?
My website, franbaileyhealer.com, or you can email me, franbailey.sheva, SHEVA @gmail.com, if you want to have any questions or want to set up a talk, because we can chat before a session just to see where you are. That's very easy to do. So I'm open and willing to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Fran, I can't recommend Fran enough. I know that sounds like a double negative, but she's my go-to. And so I want everyone to know that and realize she's a real deal. She's doing the work on herself first and then sharing it with all of us. So she's made sure it's actually works and it's high integrity. And you'll be so glad that you discovered her work. I'm so grateful.
well, Kathy, you are the bomb. So I tell you, we've worked together for quite a few years, and Kathy is certainly awesome, and
Thank
she
you.
does the work all the time, as in her own way, and certainly her expression and how she supports others is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you very much. Goodbye, 2024, and hello, 2025. Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.